There's nothing like a great family movie night. Everyone is all gathered around the TV, ready to enjoy the world of Hollywood together. Well, it all sounds good until you're sitting right next to your mom and dad when an extremely uncomfortable scene comes on. Avoid the awkwardness, forced conversations, and embarrassing scenes in a collection of movies you should never watch with your parents. Before you watch, click subscribe. You'll join our notification squad and be the first to know of new Screen Rant content. Magic Mike. When it comes to our parents, we'd prefer not to know about their personal lives in the bedroom or even the types of people they're attracted to outside of it. Unless you're curious to really deep dive in your mom or dad's preferences on attraction and body types, it's best to avoid Magic Mike at all costs. Your parents may try to convince you that the film is filled with great performances and compelling drama, but you still have to sit through minutes and minutes of male strippers with your parents by your side. There's no reason to give them any ideas for the bedroom, and you really don't ever need to know which member of Magic Mike's dancing crew your mother prefers. And if you do get stuck watching Magic Mike with your parents, avoid glancing over or making eye contact at all costs. You never know which scene will get them in the mood and result in some flirtatious glares between your mom and dad. Needless to say, but along with Magic Mike, don't forget to avoid the sequel, Magic Mike XXL, as well. You'll thank us in the long run.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no.
Oh no.
American Pie. Teen comedies are always a tricky category when viewing with your parents. Classic films like She's All That or Clueless are pretty safe in front of your parents, but the one that you should avoid at all costs is American Pie. The film is chock full of uncomfortable scenes you don't want to witness with your parents. In the opening minutes, Jason Biggs watches porn while touching himself and gets caught by his parents. There are shots of teens doing crazy stuff on webcams, and enough raunchy dialogue to make you squirm in your seat. Then there's the infamous pie scene. Your parents will likely question all of your behaviors, increase your monitoring at home, and ask you a ton of questions comparing you to a lot of the different characters. Then, of course, there's all the MILF scenes featuring Jennifer Coolidge as the hot mom who hooks up with a teen. No need to put any ideas into your parents' head. The comedy film is still great after all these years, but the belly laughs typically found in the movie will transform into awkward chuckles if your parents are around. Watching the film will make you feel as comfortable as Jason Biggs' character did when he got caught making love to the pie. Ow! There's Something About Mary. There's something about watching R-rated comedies with your parents, and There's Something About Mary is one you should leave in the digital queue. Sure, there are some funny scenes the whole family can enjoy, but others you would want to leave the room for. You'll all laugh as Ben Stiller gets a fishhook caught in his lip or does battle against the small puppy. Then, out of nowhere, you'll wish you watched Meet the Parents instead. One of the main scenes you don't want to watch with your parents is when Ben Stiller's character prepares for his date by unloading shortly before it all begins. While out on the date, Cameron Diaz gets her hands on a unique hair gel, and the moment is just too real and gross to fully enjoy with your parents. The last thing you want to deal with is questions about the gel in relation to your own activities, or your parents telling funny stories about similar situations they've been in. The scene presents an all-caps TMI situation. A few other gross-out gags are added in the mix as well, making this one something you should really avoid. Ben Stiller has plenty of other tamer comedies the whole family can enjoy together.
Well, I mean, they say tricks are for kids in the commercials.
And is that enforced by law?
Ted 2. Hey look! Your mom has an idea for a funny movie you can all watch together. Mark Wahlberg stars alongside a teddy bear who can talk. Imagine the funny jokes and adventures. Then remind yourself the bear is voiced and written by Seth MacFarlane. Ted 2 ups the ante on the first Ted movie and will probably make your parents toss out all your former childhood stuffed animals. Ted swears more than your dad trying to fix the plumbing, and excessive cursing around your parents can become extremely uncomfortable. Add in a ton of pot smoking and vulgar conversations to make the movie top the do not watch list. Just a few minutes into the movie, it's easy to get uncomfortable in front of your parents, and the peak uncomfortableness occurs during an extended scene at a sperm bank where Mark Wahlberg becomes covered head to toe in samples. Even if the movie tries to present a story about your role as a human and contributing person to society, Ted 2 has a much too raunchy humor to truly see the message. Let's just hope your parents don't confuse Paddington 2 with Ted 2 and force you to sit through an uncomfortable 90 minutes.
Yeah, try it now. Go. 5, 6, 7, hit it. Go. Go.
Showgirls. There's nothing like enjoying a great musical with your family. You've all watched Grease together, cannot get enough of The Greatest Showman, and are looking for more inspiring tunes. That's when your parents come across it. Showgirls. Awesome! a Las Vegas musical that captures the heart of the city in a musical format. Only the movie is far from this, focusing on the stripper culture in the city, and the only musical dance numbers include full-on nudity and a greased-up stripper pole. Your mom might see the poster of the film and think how far the girl from Saved by the Bell has gone. But don't let her press play! The film is not only known as one of the biggest bombs ever made, but if you do actually manage to get through it, there's nothing redeeming to watch. And of course, if you're a girl, you'll probably have to deal with the whole lecture about your parents raised you better than growing up to be a stripper. They don't understand our ability to separate fictional movies from reality. This is one lecture that could be even more tedious than the movie. Showgirls is not worth watching alone, never mind with your parents.
I said I think you're sexy.
Do you want to sit?
American Beauty. American Beauty showcases all sides of family life. Unfortunately, none of these sides are good, and you're at risk of exposing your own family secrets or dealing with some crazy suspicions from your parents. On the surface, they look like the all-American family, but they are anything but. Annette Bening plays a mother cheating on her husband with a fellow real estate agent. Her husband is played by Kevin Spacey, a bored father who longs for his daughter's best friend and begins a workout routine to woo her. And then there's Thora Birch, the rebellious daughter who would do anything to get away from her family as she seeks out a romantic relationship with the quiet boy next door. And of course, the whole film ends with a murder. There's enough tension to make you question your parents' every move and motive, while they're likely looking back at you and doing the same. The awkward family dinners featured in the movie could easily transition into ones at home. Don't let your parents fool you with lines about the film being an Academy Award winner for Best Picture. No matter how great the story is, it's not a story you want to share with your parents.
You know my reputation. 13 inches is a tough load. I don't treat you gently.
Boogie Nights. Don't let the title and all-star cast fool you. Boogie Nights is not about the dance renaissance or the age of disco. It is not a film you want to play after a binge marathon of Dancing with the Stars. Boogie Nights is about the porn industry and features a behind-the-scenes look of the hugely, no pun intended, successful industry back in the 1970s. Your parents will be drawn to the movie because of the cast, but avoid it at all costs. Your mom will want to watch eye candy like Mark Wahlberg, while your father will be drawn to classic film stars like Burt Reynolds and Don Cheadle. Less than an hour into the movie, you'll wish you were anywhere else, and with a runtime of over 2.5 hours, it is a long and uncomfortable time sitting in the family room while Boogie Nights plays. There's only so many times you can make popcorn or use the bathroom to avoid some of the racier scenes. Find a replacement and find it fast. Suggest a tame comedy or perhaps one of Mark Wahlberg's more recent movies. Just don't tarnish your communication and relationship with your parents as you essentially watch an adult film together.
I didn't want to kill him, I wanted to kill you!
Unfaithful. Unfaithful is a roller coaster of a ride and something you never want to imagine your parents going through, never mind watch with them. The dark drama follows a couple played by Diane Lane and Richard Gere. No, not the happy-go-lucky rich guy Richard Gere from Pretty Woman. This is a bored and depressed Richard Gere who finds himself in a passionless marriage. Yet, it's a marriage he sticks with as he shares a young son with his wife. During a random trip into New York City, Diane Lane finds herself attracted to a younger man. Here's where things get a little dicey and uncomfortable. In short, the wife cheats, over and over again. She lies about it and tries to cover up her lies until Richard Gere finds out the ruse and murders the man his wife slept with. Both partners reveal their misdeeds and eventually decide to stick it out together while the third wheel remains dead. Whew, that is a lot to take in, and the paranoia built up in the movie is nothing you want exposed to your parents, especially with you around. Stick to Pretty Woman instead. Even the hooker with a heart of gold seems more promising.
What are your safe words?
Red and yellow.
Remember those.
50 Shades of Grey. It's pretty obvious why you probably shouldn't watch 50 Shades of Grey with your parents, but we guess we'll break things down a little further in case you've been living under a rock in the past 5 years. The film showcases the loving bond of a couple and the bondage they decide to use together. 50 Shades really takes the cake when it comes to uncomfortable love scenes to watch in front of your parents. The worst part would be small jokes or quips that your parents make about trying out some of these acts yourself. Yeesh. Your parents and 50 Shades of Grey shouldn't even be brought up in the same sentence. Not only should you avoid the film at all costs, but even skip out on spoofs like Marlon Wayne's 50 Shades of Black. You should probably even skip the film Book Club, where a group of elderly friends decide to read 50 Shades of Grey together. The family home should be a 50 Shades free zone. You'll thank us later. If you do get stuck watching a movie with your parents, the next thing you know, you'll be watching the whole trilogy together, and the reactions from your mom and dad is something you'll never be able to unsee.
You know I don't wear any underwear.
don't you, Nick?
Basic Instinct. Wowza! Even so many years later, Basic Instinct is intense, heated, and full of some major mature moments. Of course, there's the infamous interrogation scene where Sharon Stone uncrosses her legs, but things get much worse and crazier from there. While with your parents, you do not want to know which one looks away, which one leans up, or which one tries to pause it on the short moment. Yikes. The lies, betrayal, and lovemaking scenes are all very intense and uncomfortable to watch in front of your parents. The whole film builds on the paranoia, including some shocking deaths and a couple of love scenes. The final act of the movie delivers a truly killer ending with an ice pick and final twist to satisfy anyone watching, and hopefully watching without Ma or Pops present. The film was a huge hit in the 1990s and spawned an ill-fated sequel entitled Basic Instinct 2. The sequel features more of the same craziness, even though Sharon Stone is one of the only cast members who came back for the movie. Your parents remember watching the movie back in the day, but it's something you don't want to revisit any time with your parents.
Let's keep rocking and rolling, man.
Wow, well there you have it. Have you watched any of these with your parents? Which one would be the worst to watch with them? Are there any movies we missed? Let us know in the comments section below. Don't forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to Screen Rant on YouTube so you can stay up to date with our awesome videos. Thanks for watching.